With housing costs continuing to remain high, the question of whether to rent or buy is a big decision many Americans are facing. So what are some factors that you should consider before beginning your housing search? Yahoo Finance contributor Ross Mack live here in living color with us with more. Hey, Ross.
Hey, man. So look, I think I like the question, but I think everyone has to understand there is no clear-cut answer, right? At the end of the day, you might hear some people say, well, actually, you should buy because that's an investment. And other people will say, well, if you're renting, you're actually wasting money because what are you doing? You're just paying your landlord's mortgage. But at the end of the day, I think you have to look at it situationally and understand where you are, right? And so when it comes to buying, you have to understand a few things, right? One, you want to know that you have great financial stability. You want to have a good job, a good stable paying job, but also you want to have a lot of cash in reserves because there are a lot of costs that you might not actually expect, right? Especially when it comes to maintenance. You can't call your landlord when that hot water heater goes or your roof needs fixing, right? Or a furnace goes out. So there's a few things. And so when it's all said and done, obviously you're gonna have HOA fees potentially, PMI, right? Insurance costs. And so when it's all said and done, when it comes to buying, your mortgage is the minimum that you'll pay. There's so many other variable costs. When it comes to renting, right, your rent is actually the max you'll pay. And so when it comes to kind of the science, right, I think we talk about budgeting from a 50-30-20 standpoint. When it comes to your mortgage, I want you to look at this as saying you don't want to pay no more than 28% of your monthly income when it comes to your total mortgage standpoint.
So what are some advantages and disadvantages of renting then on the other side?
Yeah, some of the advantages of renting, right, is flexibility, right? The ability to say, hey, maybe I want to move somewhere in a year. We'll call it a year, right? Some people could actually pay month to month, but just call it on average, you are signing a lease for about a year or so. So one, you got flexibility. Two, you also have the ability to, actually live in different places, and actually maybe you want to live on the water, your job isn't as stable, but I think the biggest disadvantage is you're not actually building up that equity, right? I think as a homeowner, you have the ability to be building up equity, you have the ability to have tax advantages. So there are a few things, but I think when it's all said and done, in the short term, you can look and say potentially renting can be better from a flexibility standpoint. You don't necessarily have all your I's dotted and T's crossed, right? But in the long term, I think, apples to apples, right? Same neighborhood, same, unit effectively, buying in the long term should be better.
Ross Mack, thanks so much for joining us here in studio. Make sure to check out Financial Freestyle. That's every Monday here on Yahoo Finance with Ross Mack.